What's up, everyone? This video is a little different than my usual uploads. Being that Destiny doesn't have much going for it for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I thought I would put out a video on a game that I'm really enjoying at the moment, Baldurs Gate 3. Before we get into the video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join the notification squad. Also, go check out my Twitter and Instagram where I post some tips, tricks, and my opinion on Destiny and any game that I'm currently playing. So first and foremost, Baldurs Gate 3 is based on D&D 5th edition. If you're familiar with D&D, then you'll feel right at home here. If you've never played D&D, it can be a little daunting with cantrips, bonus actions, movement speed, and so on. But don't worry, I'll explain how things work in the character creation sheet and encounters. It's really not that hard once you get the hang of it. Also, all of the video that you see in the background is from the beginning of the game, so to avoid all spoilers. The first thing that you're met with after starting the game is creating your character. I'm going to have another video coming out soon on the character creation as it's pretty detailed, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can really mess up your character by selecting the wrong abilities, races, and so on. I think the first thing that you need to start with is your class. The class will determine the race that you choose because there are bonuses that you get for the race that pairs well with the class that you choose. If you look on the left, you can see a star above one of your abilities. What this is, it's your primary stat on that class. That's a stat that you want to have the highest amount of points in. Now, a good rule of thumb is have all even numbers, as the bonuses only hit on them. You don't really want to have anything below 10, but it's normal to have an 8 on an ability that you won't be using much. Certain classes like the Warlock and Cleric have subclasses that have unique features. If you're not sure of what something does, you can hover over it and it will explain with a pop-out. After you pick your class, next move on to race. Race is important because certain races synergize better with certain classes. For example, if you're making a Warlock, you want to go with something like a Tiefling or a Drow that gives you +2 charisma. Also, there are sub-races as well that will change the features and traits, like High Elf gains a cantrip while Wood Elf gains better movement and stealth. Once you're done with your race, move on to your origin and select a background. You want to make sure that these aren't overlapping with the ones you already have, as they don't stack. And last, go to your abilities and set them where you want them to be. Like I said before, you don't want any odd numbers. You only get bonuses on evens starting at 12. If you don't know what an ability does, you can hover over it and it will tell you. Also, you can open it up with the triangle and it will show you the proficiencies within that ability. Alright, on to gameplay. Baldurs Gate 3 is a semi-turn-based RPG. What I mean by that is combat is turn-based while exploring is not. But there's a way to make exploring turn-based by clicking the Enter Turn-Based Mode button above your character image at the bottom of the screen, or hitting the spacebar. That's the hotkey for it. This is great to avoid traps and be more stealthy. You can exit it at any time while you're not in combat by clicking the button again or by hitting spacebar. As far as combat is concerned, you have actions, bonus actions, and movement. An action would be an attack, spell, cantrip, and a few other things. If you hover over the image in your toolbar, you can see if it's an action or a bonus action by either an orange triangle or a green circle. You want to use your action every turn, whether it being to attack or use a cantrip or dash. Dash will let you double your movement, but will use your action. You can also use a bonus action before using an action to, say, dip your weapon in fire to do extra damage, or to shove an enemy off a ledge to get more range for a ranged attack. Spells work a little differently, as you only have a limited number of spell slots available to use per day, so use them wisely and not on easy cannon fodder enemies. A day is considered all the time that you spend in between long rests. With a long rest, you regen your spell slots and also have the ability to swap out known spells as needed. You also regain all your hit points as well. A long rest will also send you to camp where you can interact with your party and also swap out party members. You can control all of the characters in your party by double clicking on their icon in the bottom left corner of the screen. Say you're playing as a wizard and you need your rogue to sneak somewhere, you can just double click them and control them as you would control your own character. If you hold the Alt key, it will highlight objects in the world that you can interact with. This is handy for finding loot and other objects in the world that you might overlook and miss. You can pretty much right click on anything in the world and use it somehow. You can pick up things to throw or stack items to reach places that you couldn't reach before. You can also use this to pickpocket NPCs and rob them. If your party's getting low on health, you can use a short rest to heal them, but you only get 1 short rest per day. The short rest is in the top right corner of the screen by the map, and it looks like a little eyelash that's hanging down. If you're wondering how much damage your weapon is doing, hover over the weapon and it will say something like 1d4 piercing. That means that your weapon does one 4-sided dice worth of damage. If you want to see the roll, you can expand the dialog box at the bottom right of the screen and it will show you what you rolled. Your defense is your AC or armor class. This is the number that the enemy has to roll in order to actually hit you. That's also in your character sheet. If you have a blessing or a bonus stat or a debuff, that will show up above your health bar in the toolbar. Keep an eye on this so you know what bonuses you have or what debuff you need to get rid of. As far as death is concerned, when a party member goes down, they aren't dead, they're unconscious. You can go up to them and help them with the help action in your toolbar. That will save them from using a death saving roll, and from there you can heal them or have them drink a potion. Helping them will use an action, so keep that in mind. Also, if you go down and fail all of your death saving throws, then you are dead and have to reload a save. Speaking of saves, use quick save often. The hotkey is F5 and you need to use it all the time, as the autosave doesn't save as often as you would think. Now remember, this is an early access game, so there are a ton of bugs and crashes. If you do find a bug or your game crashes, send the log to Larian so they know about it and they fix it. They've been doing a great job so far with updates and bug fixes, so shout out to them for great work. I'm working on a build guide for all the classes, so if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications because apparently YouTube likes that type of thing. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.